Hi and welcome to week 6 of the 6-week beginner yogi course. In week 6 we continue to explore yin, so all floor-based poses. And again we'll be holding these poses for anywhere from about 3 to 5 minutes this week. Now last week we focused mainly on lower half of the body, so hip openers, all that kind of thing. This week we will be focusing mainly on the top half of the body, so getting into the shoulders and all that kind of thing. Now I do recommend once again that you have a blanket or a cushion, maybe a block if you have one handy, but mainly just having either a block and or a cushion for support if you need it. If there's anything in this class that doesn't feel good, or particularly around the shoulder area, then feel free just to back off and kind of modify as you need to. Or practice just coming into your rebound pose as we did last week. We'll be revisiting that again. And I think that's all. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and bring yourself into extended child's pose. So we're beginning as we did last week, an extended child's pose. But this week I'd like you to focus as you settle into this yin posture for the next few moments. I'd like you to focus in around the shoulder area and just see if you can soften the shoulders. You might even widen the elbows, bend the elbows a little bit. Let them soften down. Taking nice deep full breaths into the belly, rolling the breath up into the chest, maybe filling that upper back area. And as you exhale, just softening through the shoulders, the elbows, all the way through down to the hands, the fingers. Continuing that nice deep full yogic breath in and out. Focusing around the top half of the body this time. And just taking these first few moments in this pose just to find yourself in your practice. To do this, we let go of the day that we've had previous to this. We let go of whatever's happening after this. And just commit to being present, staying as still as possible. Breathing deeply. And we take 8 more breaths here in our extended child's pose. Moving mindfully and slowly, just gently walking the torso back up and coming onto hands and knees. Now I've put a blanket down here for this next pose, just for a little bit of added support. So if you do have your blanket, maybe just fold it and just placing it over the top part of your mat. We're coming into a shoulder stretch here, which is why I've just got a little bit of support here, because it's nice for some support for the head and the shoulders. So we begin with our shoulders directly over top of our wrists, and we're going to work on the right hand side first. So the knees are about a hip width apart here, and we're just going to shift the weight into the left hand. As you inhale, sweep the right arm wide, and then as you exhale, thread the arm underneath the space under the left arm, and bring your right shoulder and cheek down to the mat. So the hips stay lifted here. If you need a little bit of support underneath the head, then feel free to take a pillow and place that support underneath the head. Now the left hand just stays exactly where it was, but your left elbow will bend. And it's maybe just in front of the face or somewhere similar, somewhere that's comfortable for you to rest. The right palm is facing upwards. And we're just going to simply pause here, focus in on breathing and staying as still as we can. Notice a tendency here to clench the jaw. Maybe just soften through the features of the face. Noticing your distractions, might be the mind, maybe outside noises. And just simply acknowledging, letting go, and then come back into the breath. Last few breaths here. And just very mindfully, slowly make your way back into tabletop. And let's just pause here, realign. And then we'll move on to the left hand side. So when you're ready, on your inhale, left arm rises out to the side, lifted high. And as you exhale, go ahead and thread the arm underneath the right, bringing the left shoulder and cheek down to the floor. Feel free to use your pillow for support if you need to. Hips stay nice and high. Your right hand's just somewhere in front of the face, just a little bit away maybe, elbow bent. Close the eyes. Tune into the breath. See if you can relax that left hand down to the floor, palm facing up. Noticing when you become distracted, acknowledging, letting go, moving back into the practice of just observing the breath, or maybe just observing yourself in this pose, the need to fidget or move. And just mindfully lifting yourself back into tabletop. Bring the toes together, widen the knees, and we'll just take a little rebound in child's pose here. So soft elbows, maybe even a little bit bent. Rest the forehead down. Nice deep full breaths in and out, softening through the shoulders. From child's pose, go ahead and slide onto your belly and prop yourself up on your forearms. We're coming into Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose is, obviously we will feel it in the top half of the body, but it's predominantly felt in the back area, specifically in the lower back area. So if anybody has any niggles in the lower back area and this pose doesn't feel good, then at any time that you need to, just come down into the rebound on your belly, stack your hands, have the elbows wide, and just rest the forehead down. Yeah, if there is any level of feeling uncomfortable, just come straight out of it and just rest and wait while we finish up with Sphinx pose and then move on to the next one. So to come into Sphinx pose, we're going to bring the forearms down to the floor. We're going to press our hands into the mat. Our shoulders are over top of our elbows. If this feels uncomfortable or a little bit too intense already, then you can shift the elbows slightly forward of the shoulders. One thing to watch here is that we're not kind of hanging out in the shoulders, so we don't have our shoulders up around our ears. We want to press through our forearms and our hands and create lift. So we want to lift the chest up. Our feet are about a hip width apart, heels in, toes out. And once you've found your sweet spot, keep pressing the chest forward just lightly so that the shoulders are drawing away from the ears. Gazing straight ahead, and either just having a soft gaze, just looking at nothing in particular, or you can go ahead and close the eyes over. And just go ahead and see if you can slide into that nice deep full breaths in and out. Keep drawing the shoulders down away from the ears. And just soften the features of the face. If your lower back is feeling supported and stable here, you might even just play around with softening the muscles of the sit bones of the glutes and just see what happens when you release tension there. You might feel that the back bend becomes a little bit more intense, and it's fine. Or maybe it doesn't feel so good, so you might just add just a little bit of tension in the glutes area. Notice the distractions. Acknowledge, let go. Gently guide the awareness back in. We have 8 more breaths here. Remember, if it becomes too intense at any time, you're absolutely okay to come down into your rebound early. No worries at all. Keep rolling the shoulders away from the ears, lifting the chest up. Last few breaths here. And just moving in super slow motion. Just begin to widen the elbows as you bring the torso down super slow. And this time we're just going to bring the arms down alongside us, palms facing up, and then just bring either right or left cheek down to the mat. Draw the legs together, bring the toes to touch, let the heels hang out. And just rest here. And just gently moving slowly, go ahead and shift yourself back into child's pose. You can have the knees together or knees wide apart, whatever feels best. Right, the elbows nice and soft, rest the forehead down. Take some nice deep full breaths into the lower back area. And as you continue to inhale, see if you can wrap the breath all the way around the lower back. Slow exhales out. And just slowly press yourself up into a comfortable seat for a moment. So we're going to do another yin posture that's targeted towards the shoulders, but I just wanted to give you a quick visual because I am on my belly as I'm doing it. I just want to make sure that you know what I am trying to get you to do, so I thought I'd give you a visual first. So we're coming into a shoulder stretch, and we're going to do the left hand side first. So I'm going to instruct you, just imagining that you're on your belly, to come into cactus arms. This is cactus arms. So because you're on your belly, this whole front part of the upper arm and the forearm is on the mat. Your palm is flat on the floor. And then the other hand is just going to be beside the face somewhere with the elbow bent. So this is what I mean when I say bring the left arm into cactus arm and then your right hand beside the face. So carefully bring yourself down onto your belly. And as I mentioned, we're doing the left hand side of the shoulder first. So just lower the torso down, bring the left arm into cactus arm, palm facing downwards, and then your right hand just kind of beside you somewhere, bringing your left cheek down to the floor. Now from here, go ahead and bring the legs together, so zip the legs together. And then we're going to press into the right hand and lift ourselves up so that we turn onto the left side of the body. Now, the shoulder stays down on the floor here. We don't lift the shoulder up. So you only come as far as you can without lifting up from that shoulder. And then if you like, you could gently just let the right leg fall behind the left. We're going to keep our head lifted here. So extra bit of concentration needed to keep the neck nice and long. So when you've found your semi-comfortable position here, I know it's a little bit awkward, Feel free to either just find a relaxed gaze, just not looking at anything in particular, but just finding a soft, drishti focus here, or you might even just close the eyes over. We won't be staying in this posture for quite as long because the shoulders are quite sensitive and we don't want to strain the neck any. So once you've found your comfortable version of this pose, settle in. Stay as still as possible. Maybe just focusing in on the breath. Maybe point of awareness is at the shoulder, that left hand side. Just noticing what's happening there. Pausing here for 8 more breaths. Last few breaths here. And just gently roll back onto the belly. And we'll just take a quick little rebound by bringing the arms down alongside us, resting right or left cheek down. Taking some breaths here. Really softening through the shoulders. And just gently bring the hands back up. Rest on your forearms. And we'll do the other side. So this time, right arm comes into cactus arms, bent at elbow. Left hand is kind of close to where the face is going to be. And just gently let the right cheek come down. Both palms flat on the floor. And we're pressing into the left hand this time as we slowly tilt the torso, the body, and roll onto the right side. Remember, we want to keep the right arm down on the floor. Left leg can come behind if you like. Just letting the head just rest in midair. Keep the gaze nice and soft. Feel free just to relax the gaze on somewhere in front of you, maybe close the eyes. Perhaps focusing in on that right shoulder and just noticing the sensations felt there. Sending some breath in. Staying as still as you can. Pausing here for 8 more breaths. Last few breaths here. And just gently let yourself roll back onto the belly. Find your rebound. Resting arms down alongside you, palms facing up, and resting right or left cheek down. Taking a nice deep full breath in, exhale to relax shoulders. Go ahead and carefully and slowly make your way up into tabletop. We're going to revisit Sleeping Swan, so we're going to get into the hips a little bit in this next series. And just a little reminder from last week, if you're not comfortable in Sleeping Swan on your front, you can come onto your back. So if you're coming into Sleeping Swan on your front, we're going to slide the right knee forward, bring the shin through. And then we're just going to lower the hips down as we extend the left leg nice and long. Now, reminder from last week, if you're hanging out on that right hand hip, we want to lift the hips up so that they're both centered. And then if you need to, you could take a blanket or a cushion or a block and place it underneath that right hip. If you're not comfortable, particularly through the hips or the right knee joint, then turn around onto your back and then bend the knees and bring your right ankle onto your left thigh. And then you can thread the hands, interlace the fingers behind the thigh, and then lift the foot up if you would like to. Otherwise, we're just going to gently, nice and slow, lower the torso down. Maybe stack the hands or stack the fists to rest the forehead. And just pause here, be as still as we possibly can. And let's still have some awareness in the top half of the body and the shoulders. So just wriggle around as much as you need to so that you can soften through the shoulders. Once you've found your sweet spot, close the eyes, tune into the breath. Notice if you've become distracted, perhaps gone off on a little daydream or trying to forecast into the future what's happening later. So wherever you've found yourself, just acknowledge, let it go. Gently let the awareness float back into the breath. Just observing as you inhale, as you exhale. Perhaps noticing the tendency to want to move. And just seeing if you can allow yourself to surrender and just be still. Just breathe. Last few breaths here. And just mindfully moving into your rebound on your belly if you're on your front, or on your back if you're on your back. Hands stacked, forehead rests down. Nice deep full breaths into the belly. Just noticing sensations through that right hand side. Let's carefully make our way back up onto hands and knees. And come onto Sleeping Swan on the left side. So once again, sliding that left knee forward, the shin, lowering the hips down, extending the right leg this time. Remembering we want to keep the hips even, so if you're knocking over towards the left, either use the blanket or you can turn over onto your back, no worries. Whenever you're ready, lowering yourself down if you're on your front, resting the forehead. Let's just bring awareness into the shoulders and just wriggle around as much as we need to. So that when we find our sweet spot, we can just commit to being still and just breathing. Is there any layers of tension that you could release through the shoulders by just adjusting? Maybe how wide the elbows are. Maybe even just softening the head, letting the forehead be even heavier. Can you breathe deeply into that left-hand side of the hip? Can you keep the mind focused on the present? When you notice distraction, perhaps just gently acknowledging letting go and without analyzing or judging, just move back to the breath. Doesn't matter how many times you have to gently remind yourself to come back into the present. It's all part of the practice. We have 8 more breaths here. And then let's just slowly make our way into rebound. Take your time, there's no rush. Nice deep full breaths in. Just observing that left hand side. If you're on your belly, just go ahead and turn over onto your back. And then everybody just bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. So we're going to come back into our spinal twist, same one that we did last week. So having the feet a hip width apart, taking an inhale. And as you exhale, just softly, slowly letting the knees drop over to the right. And then just bringing the arms into whatever is most comfortable for you so that you can soften through the shoulders, let the fingers be relaxed. And then you choose here whether you just stay with the head at center, just gazing up, or you could turn and look out over your left shoulder. Wherever you are, just softening, closing the eyes. Focusing on the breath. Nothing else to do here but just be still and breathe. Notice if you've become distracted. Acknowledging, letting go, floating back in. Observing the breath. On your next inhale, let the knees slowly lift back up. And as you exhale, slowly, gently dropping over to the left. Feel free to either keep the head at center or you can turn your gaze to look out over the right shoulder. Eyes and mouth closed. Focus is on the breath. Nice deep full breaths in and out. Staying as still as you possibly can, guiding yourself back to the present moment as often as you need to. Last 8 breaths here. Just slowly lifting knees back to center. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor. Arms back down alongside you, and just pause. Let everything realign here. And go ahead and turn over onto your side and gently press yourself up into a comfortable seat. So our last pose before we come into Shavasana, our relaxation pose, is going to be reclining butterfly again. So if you enjoyed having the blanket along the spine last week, then feel free to fold your blanket long ways and then just place it at the top of the mat. And then just mindfully coming into butterfly, so bringing soles of the feet together, knees open wide, and then just slowly, carefully begin to drape yourself back. Making any little adjustments that you need to. And this week, because we are focusing a little bit more on the upper body, the shoulders area, go ahead and just have the arms down alongside you. Move them away from the torso a little bit. And then see if you can open the palms. So palms are facing up. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, let the shoulders melt down. Feel the chest be lightly stretched as the shoulders continue to just melt into the mat. Close the eyes, close the mouth. Breathe deeply in and out through the nostrils. Release any tension through the jaw. Soften the space between the eyebrows, muscles around the eyes. If you feel this quite intensely through the hips, take a few moments just to send some breath there. Send your attention to the hip area. Breathing some space into the hips. Guiding your attention back to the breath. Eight more breaths here. Nice, deep full breaths in and out. Notice if there's any layers through the shoulders, the chest that you can soften. After your next exhale, perhaps using your hands to just gently lift the knees back up, bring the soles of the feet to the floor, and just pause here, let everything realign. And when you feel ready, just sliding the legs down. Feet are about the width of the mat apart, toes are hanging out. Moving the arms away from the torso, palms facing upwards. Take a nice deep full breath in. Exhale as you relax all the heavy parts of the body. Softening the back of the head, the shoulders, the hips, and the heels. Taking a nice deep breath in. Softening the chest and the belly, spine, the thighs, both the arms and the legs. Taking an inhale, and as you exhale, relax the hands, all the fingers, the feet, all of the toes. Feel yourself move into that natural and calm, spontaneous flow of breath. Body feeling heavy yet weightless all at the same time. Settling into your relaxation. And just allowing yourself to be. Begin to deepen your breath once again. Nice deep full breaths into the belly. Roll the breath up into the chest. Hold briefly. Slow exhales out. Begin to wiggle through the fingers, the toes. Maybe the head turns side to side. And slowly drawing the arms overhead, zip the legs together, take a full body stretch. Carefully bending the knees. And then rolling over onto your side, resting your head on top of your arm for a moment. Just pause, take a breath. And keeping your eyes closed if you can, just gently pressing yourself up into a comfortable seat. Feel free to sit on your block or cushion. Roll the shoulders, sit up nice and tall. Take a couple of nice, deep, full breaths in and out, just finding center. Bring your palms together, lightly press thumbs against the chest. Draw the chin down towards the chest. Give yourself a big smile. Big smile for trying something new. Lifting your thumbs to the forehead. Namaste. Well done. Hey, I'd just like to say congratulations for completing the 6-week beginner yogi course online. It is my absolute honor and privilege to take you through the 6-week beginner yogi course. I hope that it has inspired you to keep up your practice. If you'd like to repeat the course, feel free to do so, or just pick your favorite classes throughout the 6 weeks that we went through. If you're interested in meditation, I have a 4-week beginner yogi meditation course that's available for purchase separately or through the BYOM. And if I have inspired you to keep up your yoga practice and you're not part of the BYOM or the Beginner Yogi online membership, then please feel free to sign up to our monthly membership, and there's a whole array of different classes inside the members area for you. I wish you all the best on your yoga journey, and I hope to see you on the mat again soon. Namaste.